Hi, I'm A.Campbell. That's me. And today I'm going to talk to you about risk management at Penn State. Risk management can be described as the process of identifying, assessing, and controlling threats to an organization's capital and earnings. What are the risks? The risk can be a variety of instances such as financial uncertainties, legal liabilities, technology issues, strategic management errors, accidents, and natural disasters. Risk management is a tool that most businesses use to decrease potential liabilities, incidents, or other catastrophes that put the business or its patrons in jeopardy. This can mean having safety protocols and procedures for programs, routine maintenance, inspections, or even waivers and acknowledgement of risk implements for patrons. Let's talk more about risk now. Today I'm here at the boardwalk trail that lines the border between Shavers Creek and Stone Valley Lake Perez, both Penn State properties and governances. I frequent this place often, and during my seed semester with Penn State, I noticed potential public liability risk pertaining to the boardwalk feature of the trail. I will show you some examples of these risks now. In this video, you'll see where Stone Valley becomes Lake Perez. These two governances have completely different ways of dealing with liabilities, such as this boardwalk railing that has screws coming out of it, or this board that has holes in it. These will mainly be what we focus on as far as risks, is failures in the boards, such as this hole that people could trip in, or as you'll see in this video, just how large some of these failures can be, and how dangerous they could be as far as splinters, tripping, falling, hazards that prohibit people with potential handicaps from utilizing the boardwalk. And as you can see, there are many of them. They're also very large, as I said, and walking the boardwalk, I saw a large number of repairs, but most of them looked to be fairly weathered, and even some of the repaired boards were starting to fail as well. So a lot of this boardwalk has kind of been left out. Some of the boards were coming up, and you could see that they'd probably gotten caught on people tripping over them or potentially strollers. This is a very accessible trail, so there's a lot of traffic during the day as it's open to the public 24/7. And here's a wider view of the entire boardwalk. As you can see, it's right in the middle. There's no coverage. It's completely exposed to the elements at all times. So, and this falls under Shavers Creek governance. It does not fall under Stone Valley, yet it does fall under the umbrella of Penn State. Who is responsible? So when a board is broken, it would first come to the Shavers Creek maintenance staff, who are supposed to fix it and keep the boardwalk maintained at all times. If they fail to do this, the responsibility falls on Shavers Creek directors. If they fail to do it, it then becomes a liability to Penn State. I would classify this liability through the broken boards and failing railings as public liability caused by exposure. The steps I would take in assessing this risk and implementing safe ways to combat it would be to first identify the risk. So boards and railings on boardwalk are broken and failing. And while I'm not a maintenance person, if I were in charge of assessing this risk, I would probably look this over with a maintenance person or someone who would be logistically capable of implementing some kind of treatment to this boardwalk problem, and we would come to a solution. So essentially then we would move to our second step of risk evaluation, needing to replace and restore failing appliances and lumber features with new materials. And we would factor in the cost, the time, the materials, etc. And then during this phase, we'd probably also do a little more planning and consider how can we make this boardwalk safer? How can we decrease the risk for a longer amount of time in the future? While also recognizing that it is a boardwalk, it's made of wood, which will degrade, it's out in the elements. And I would probably look into things like weather treated lumber or something that might hold up a little bit better and be safer in the long run than perhaps what is currently being utilized. Risk treatment, our third step, would be implementing the workers to restore boardwalk to a status of safety utilizing plans from step 2. So, like I said, I logistically could not restore the boardwalk personally, which is why it would be important to find the right people to do the job and have them help me and assist me with that while also decreasing risk by getting professional opinions on how to restore the boardwalk. And then our fourth step would be risk implementation. So assessing the outcome of restorations against future potential risks to decrease potential liability and improve the state of the boardwalk from previous failures, and continuing to analyze and maintain boardwalk to upkeep level of safety, usability, and low or decreased risk. So this could mean even some of the boards were really far apart, which even though they weren't technically failing, they were still causing some risks. So when we implement the restorations, we make sure that all the boards are really close together. We choose a good type of wood that's treated, and then we could also improve the railings by perhaps building the railings up on each other instead of stilts to decrease rot and water and air getting in between them. Just things like that we can implement for the future that will decrease the risk and increase the safety and of the boardwalk going into the future.